true depth in relationship is generally to be found within family. That doesn't mean that friends aren't important. Then the next issue is, well, are there things that you're doing with your friends? Are there activities that you're undertaking with your friends that are more significant than mere casual amusement? Or is it just casual amusement? Because if it is, the bar scene or that kind of party life, let's say, the friendships aren't going to be very deep because they're not. They're predicated on shallow activities. And so it may be that you need to find some activities that you feel are profound on your own and find people that you can share them with. Because a fair bit of friendship is, in fact, the engagement in shared activity. And so the more profound the activity, at least in principle, then perhaps the more profound the friendship. Certainly, the people whose friendships I would regard as most crucial to me are people with whom I'm involved in complex and difficult endeavors. And I think that's necessary because I think that a fair bit of friendship, apart from, the part that's amusement and fun, which is important, is a consequence of the profundity of shared activities. And so you might want to ask yourself, are you doing anything with anyone that you regard as important? And then the other thing I would ask is, well, do you have an assortment of intimate relationships? Do you have a partner, a wife or a husband? Do you have children? Are you spending enough time attending to your parents and your siblings to keep those relationships alive, with holidays and with visits and that sort of thing? That's where you find that relationships that, generally speaking, are deep and meaningful and lasting, even though they're often the ones that are also the most problematic. When we used to sit down for family meetings, which happened on a bi-monthly basis, something like that, once every 2 months, when we were trying to divide up economic and practical duties amongst my wife and I and the kids, we had some rules, and the rules were, well, there's a certain number of things that have to be done in the house to keep it running in a manner that anyone with any sense would want it to run. And there are certain responsibilities that everyone has to undertake to facilitate that. And there's difficult discussions that have to be had about who's going to do what. And so here's the rules. We have to make a list of what needs to be done. We have to agree on that. And then we have to each accept the responsibilities that go along with that in some sort of order. Maybe you choose one and then I choose one and then someone else chooses one, assuming that everybody's mature enough and capable of doing the jobs that they pick, and that you have to negotiate until you come to the best solution that can be negotiated, which isn't necessarily a perfect solution, but it might be the best one that can be done. And then you have to stick with it until the next negotiation. One of the rules was, well, you can leave the discussion, but only until you calm down, and then you have to come back, because these things have to be pushed through. They have to be negotiated through, because the alternative is, well, important things don't get done, or people do them resentfully because they're sort of forced by their own orderliness or their own conscientiousness, or by force, psychological or otherwise, on the part of other people. These things have to be negotiated through. You can tell if you've got the balance between making peace and speaking the truth right if the conversation continues. And it can be emotional and will be and can be difficult because important things have to be dealt with. But as long as the people are still in the conversation and communicating, then you've got the balance right. And you might have to take a break. Maybe you have to hold off till the next day. Maybe sometimes when you're negotiating something that's difficult, you have to offer the other person the opportunity to sleep on their decision too, which I think is often a very good idea. If you have to make an important decision in your life, it's very useful to tell the person that you're negotiating with that, look, I'm interested in this and it seems good, but I'm not going to agree until I sleep on it. It gives you, well, lots of things happen when you sleep. You organize your brain when you sleep, at least to the degree that you can organize it. And you can often be more solid or more doubtful about a decision if you sleep on it. You know, it's certainly possible too that the people that are attacking you are even unwilling to come to terms with their own internal desires. And that would be my guess. They're denying something that they regard as inappropriately subordinate, as I said, for ideological reasons, that to have a child is to damage the world. That would be one part of it. Or to subordinate yourself to the oppressive patriarchy, that would be another part of it. And that no alert and woke woman would dare to have that as an ambition. But that's so shallow and so superficial, all of that, and so self-damaging, you know, because there isn't that many things that you have to do in life that will sustain you in life in a necessary manner. And having a family is definitely one of those. It's maybe half of your life. It might be more than that, but it's definitely at least half your life. You figure intimate relationship, that's a big part of your life. Your career and the useful things and productive things that you do outside, that's another part. But fundamentally, it's family. You probably eat because it makes you feel better. I mean, physically. So lots of times I've had clients, this has happened endless numbers of times. I've seen it where people are extremely anxious and nervous and they eat something and they feel way better. And the reason they feel better is because, well, they've either not been eating enough or they're eating wrong. Now, I constantly recommend it to my clients if they were arguing with their spouses. And this is something I could generally recommend to everyone that's out there. If the two of you are involved in a particularly stupid argument, then break and have something to eat. Have some cheese. Have something that's protein and fat heavy, like a snack, and wait 10 minutes and then talk again and see. You might find that you're endlessly more reasonable. And so I would also say, generally speaking, you should eat a fat and protein heavy breakfast, and a lot of it, probably more than you want, probably more than you would feel comfortable with. It's the most important meal of the day. And it's possible that you're dysregulated psychophysiologically, so that if you get stressed, your body overproduces insulin and takes all the blood sugar out of your blood system.